I never liked anything that I made. Everything I made, even going far back to when I was like 17 and I was writing poetry. Half the poems that I would write when I was first writing, I would throw them out. I would rip them up.
This is Champagne is Also a Band podcast. One songwriter, one song. I'm Sven, your host for a journey into the music of Champaign-Urbana. Recorded in the Blue Box studio with a songwriter from the Champaign-Urbana music scene, past or present. Champagne is Also a Band podcast is proud to be a part of the Champagne Showers Podcast Network. Welcome to Champagne is Also a Band podcast. Today I have Josa. So, Josa, welcome to the show.
How's it going?
Today we're going to be listening to your song Meds, and it's upcoming, right?
Yeah,
you're going to be releasing that pretty soon?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you have a planned date for that?
Not yet, like completely. It's definitely going to come out beginning of the next year with a project.
This will be the first time people will get a chance to hear it.
If you're in the Champaign area and you've came to one of my shows, you've definitely heard this song before. It's one of those songs I perform a lot. It's not released yet, not until 2024.
All right. Well, without further ado, let's listen to the song Meds.
Trying my best, yeah, I need some rest. Turn the page of life, I feel I'm failing every test. No, I don't regret, I feel like I've regressed. Looking for my God, but he is missing every step. I'm trying my best, yeah, I need some rest. Turn the page of life, I feel I'm failing every test. No, I don't regret, I feel like I've regressed. Looking for my God, but he is missing every step. And baby girl, you're wonderful, you make me feel untouchable. The demons, yeah, I run from you. The passion, I don't fuck with you. And life will never be the same. We all are human, bleed the same. Why the world it had to be this way? I'm stressed as fuck, I need my meds. Yeah, I don't know where to go now. I'm not fucking with these hoes now. Battle in my head like a showdown, and I'm all alone like a ghost town. I'm in my head, I can't breathe. Offer me to die, yes, gladly. A bitch ass nigga I can't be. I'm really happy you happy. Nah, I really killed him, that was not the deal then. Supposed to be till then, I suppose it wasn't real then. I was in the field and we ain't had no meals then. Holes in my shoes, using duct tape to seal them. Now we cracking seals and only way to feel now. Racks in my pocket, yeah, the only way I feel proud. Love it really hurts, but time will never heal that. Love it really hurts and I'm trying to heal that. Best, yeah, I need some rest. Turn the page of life, I feel I'm failing every test. No, I don't regret, I feel like I've regressed. Looking for my God, but he is missing every step. I'm trying my best, yeah, I need some rest. Turn the page of life, I feel I'm failing every test. No, I don't regret, I feel like I've regressed. Looking for my God, but he is missing every step. And baby girl, you're wonderful, you make me feel untouchable. The demons, yeah, I run from you. The passion, I don't fuck with you. And life will never be the same. We all are human, bleed the same. Why the world it had to be this way? I'm stressed as fuck, I need my meds. Yeah.
Welcome back. So, of course, Joseph, my first and favorite question to always ask is, what came first? Was it the words or was it the music?
I would honestly say it was the feeling. The way I wrote this song specifically was, I was in my house, obviously a lot of stuff going on in my life, and just thinking, and it was one of those things where like my brain was just clouded and I couldn't really do anything. And I was talking with a friend, and I'm just like, hey, I know I invited you to hang out, but I'm gonna play a beat real quick. I need to make something right now. Like I have so much going on. I need to make something. And I put the beat on, and that was kind of like the first thing that came out. It was like, I'm trying my best. Yeah, I need some, it was just like, that was the first thing that came out. And then from there, that's when I would say it was more of the feeling that came first, because it was like, it was all just like, my brain was cloudy. All right, let's get this out. And that's what came out.
It's interesting when you can use the writing of a music song to figure out exactly kind of what you're thinking and feeling, and like a way to process, right?
Yeah.
This definitely hits as a song that is about kind of processing what you're feeling and what you're thinking, and like what exactly is it you're feeling, especially when you're not really sure what you're feeling. I think one of my normal questions is like, well, what was the first line? And it turns out that I'm going to call this the hook. Usually that at least gives you some idea of where the person's heading, like what they were thinking about first in terms of the story. I always break down songs like in the idea of like, it's a story. It's something that we're trying to figure out. With this, I wasn't sure if you had started with the hook or you had started with some of your verses. You started off with the hook. Was the beat that you were working with at the time, was it this beat that you're using now?
It was one of those rare moments where I picked the beat, I started just flowing on the beat, and it became what it was. I didn't really have to do much. Line after line, it became what it was.
The way that I've been interpreting this, in going through this song, I think about, you have the hook that's kind of a reassurance to yourself or whatever. Like you're just trying to go on every day, and then you use the verses to kind of explain why you're going through what you're going through. This is a question I don't usually ask about titles, but I'm just curious, why did you pick the name Meds for it? Because you only mentioned it briefly, but the thing is that in some ways this is, I want to say, is kind of a love song too, right? Like you're missing this person. They meant a great deal to you, but the fact that you named it Meds, I was just curious about that choice.
The one thing about all my titles is, for the most part, they do have to do with the song and they have some relation to it. But I'm real fucking shitty at titles. Like I can't, like I'll make a whole song. I'll sit there, make 3-4 songs in a studio, and then I look at everybody like, damn, what y'all think this should be named? Like, so Meds was definitely one of those titles where, I was at the studio, the producer Mousepad, who I work with pretty often, he knows me already. He knows I don't really have titles. So he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna call this Meds. Obviously if I need to change it, I can change it before I drop it. He's like, I'm just gonna call this Meds. I stuck with it because it was like dealing with things, the song, like, oh, when I first made the song, it's like, man, I had so much in my head. Obviously music is a big way I cope. I'm a drinker, I'm a smoker, like, so Meds just kind of fit right there. It was like, all right, I'm trying, I need my meds.
I guess the thing that struck me is I kept thinking about, like, you're in a situation where you could say, like, the catalyst or whatever, the reason for the song was, it was a relationship that didn't turn out. The person moved on, but maybe you didn't move on. But the choice of calling it Meds is kind of like, maybe you want to focus on the fact that you need some help to get through this, right?
Yeah.
Whatever that is.
And I would say also, like, I wouldn't want the, like, main focus to be a female, just because, like, yeah, I mentioned the part where in the song where it's like, oh, baby girl, you're wonderful, you make me feel untouchable. I feel like one of the reasons I did put that into is because it's like, at the time, yeah, I was talking to somebody and it's like, oh yeah, I'm going through all this stuff, but like, oh, I feel good when I'm with you. But I feel like that's a normal human being feeling. A person could be going through a bunch of shit and then boom, they meet somebody that may distract them from what's going on.
Yeah.
But the shit's still going on, like, and I touch on a lot of that, like depression, all that. The shit's still going on. you make me feel untouchable, you make me feel good, but like everything is still going on in the background. It does not matter. Like when I talk to my friends and stuff and I'll like give them advice, I call it like they're in a dream state, you know. Oh, every time, yeah, you could go and see that girl, like, oh, you're traveling out of town to see that girl because, you know, you're feeling some type of way, and when you're with her, cool, you're good. But that's a dream. That's not life. When you go back and you're not around her no more, guess what? You're still gonna be going through all the shit that you've been going through. You know, everything is still stays. So like, yeah, you make me feel untouchable. You make me feel good, but everything still stays no matter what. I do talk about a female, but there's a lot of stuff going on. Right. You know, like I'm not trying my best pleasing a female. No, I'm trying my best in my life. And I feel like that's something a lot of people could say. You know, a lot of people try their best, but, you know, they're just brought shit.
When did the verses become part of this? Because it sounds like you wrote the whole hook.
So, like, a lot of my songs are made out, like, you know, just randomly. You know, yeah, I could keep making songs and, you know, I could keep putting out work. I could constantly write music, but there's only a few that have that feeling in it, that heart in it, that it's like, oh, okay, I get what he's saying. I feel what he's saying. This is definitely one of those songs, but once I write a song, I move past it and I start writing the next song. In the beginning of when I wrote this song, it was more like my head was clouded with a lot of things. Anybody who's an overthinker would understand. Sometimes you're thinking about shit that's not even going on right now. Could be in the past, could be in the future. Like, you're just overly thinking. So like that was line after line, just like things that I felt, things that I thought of. And that's how the first verse came about. This was one of those songs that really was just like, oh, okay, I'm trying my best. You know, because that was literally the first thought that had came to my head. I don't know if it had to do with the conversation I was having with my friend, but it was just like, that was the first thought. Like, man, in life, I'm really trying. I'm trying to do this. Why do I keep getting this back? And then just after that, it was just more just me thinking about stuff that I was thinking about already, or like that were in my head. That point when I wrote the song was a point where I was extremely overwhelmed, you know, with all my thoughts and, you know, what was going on in my life at the time. Like I told you, I was hanging out with a friend that day. Yeah. Wasn't even supposed to be writing music. I was, you know, hanging out with her, you know, doing whatever. Let's stop hanging out for a second. I need to be in my own brain. I need to write something, or at least try. Because I didn't know I didn't have anything in my head when I first told her like that I wanted to, you know, throw on a beat. It was more like, I don't know what to do. I have so much in my brain. So let me throw on a beat. Yeah. Let me see what could happen. It just happened that the first beat I put on. Yeah. And it just kind of worked from there. It was like, okay, now I can say this, that. And everything followed afterwards.
I'm curious about something you said earlier about that you write a lot, but you don't necessarily share or, you know, put out the work as much. Yeah. And so I'm just wondering, do you save those? I'm always trying to encourage people to like get their work out, whether it's what they consider like 100% or not. Cause I think a lot of people are interested. I mean, there will always be haters, but like seeing where your work goes, like the stuff that maybe isn't the greatest, but then by comparison, good songs like this can have that impact.
I guess you could say this is not necessarily my downfall, but like one of those things that's not like as good as like, I always feel like, oh, I need to wait for the right time. As an artist, I struggle with, in the beginning, especially like when I first started making music, I never liked anything that I made. Everything I made, even going far back to when I was like 17 and I was writing poetry. Half the poems that I would write when I was first writing, I would throw them out. I would rip them up. Sometimes even going as far as to burn them. I'll fucking get rid of it. So like a lot of my early work would literally just never be seen because I would destroy it right afterwards. And in growing as an artist, realize that's not a good thing. Probably should keep my work that I make, but also I feel like timing is a thing. There is, you know, a right time and a wrong time to drop things, but also I am getting a little heavier on that trigger finger now. Like that's why like I'm dropping my first project since I first started fucking doing this. Yeah. Not that now is the right time, but it's like, all right, I keep making excuses not to drop all this. Right. So now that fuck it, we're not gonna do no excuse. We're gonna just start dropping, you know. And that's why like I did the way I did it. Like I'm gonna drop a 3-song project next year. You know, I chose 3 songs because I'm like, okay, I don't want to do too much, but we're gonna pick the 3 songs that one I like.
When you said you would burn the poems, you would get rid of them. Did that help? I mean, was that something that like you found, was it like rewarding to be able to just
I hated my work that much. I loved writing, at the time, especially when I first started doing it. I loved writing. I love, having that outlet, just being able to talk on the paper. But I just never felt like it was worth listening to. In the beginning stages, like I said, I've grown as an artist, and I've learned not to do that, and I've learned to love my work. But yeah, in the very beginning, like I there's times I would like read it back, and I'll be like, man, this is good. And then it'll just sit on me. It'll just marinate a little bit, and it'll be like, nah, nobody wants to listen to this, and I'll just burn it or rip it, whatever, get rid of it.
I guess I haven't really explored this, but like, I wonder how much or how often that is that, artists, as they're starting, they're just like, all of it's crap. I don't want to deal with it. Yeah. I don't want, like, this shouldn't be shared. But I feel I'm considerably older than you, so I'm just going to say, like, sometimes it does have that weird effect of like, God, I wish I could remember how it felt like back then when everything was new. And even if I hated it, that kind of energy, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, so one of the things is like the pieces that I couldn't really erase, I'll do stuff in school, and randomly, like, I think it was like a few months back, I was looking through like my Google files, and I was looking through like old poetry that I had wrote, in high school and stuff, stuff that I would have probably thrown out. But because it's on, online, it's there. Yeah. And I liked it. I would look back at like stuff that I still do have from when I first started writing. It's fucking good. I can't lie. It's good. And, a lot of times I'm like, man, I wish I wrote like that, now. Right. It was more of that mindset, which I think is a big thing, especially with being an artist. Like, just standing on your shit, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make this. I know it's good. I know y'all are gonna like it, despite what anybody else thinks or says.
If you do a set, where would you put Meds in your set list?
Middle end, because like that's even something I'm still like constructing right now as an artist, where to put what song. Primarily, if you listen to my music, if you listen to it all, it's just a lot of sad music, and I don't really have too many turnt songs, so it's easy for me to change these songs. If I don't want to perform this one at this time, I perform it at the end. Like, I don't really have any way to put it, just because my set is usually just sad. That's what I do. That's what I'm comfortable with doing. Definitely, I have a lot of lit songs too, but I prefer doing my sad songs. My songs with more feeling in it.
What I wanted to do is maybe tell you kind of what my favorite part of the song is. Okay. And then I'm going to ask you your favorite part. I had a hard time picking because I think there's some really honest, like really nice parts that connect. Like, I think it's the third line in the first verse is the battle in my head like a showdown, and I'm all alone. It's ghost town. I'm in my head. I can't breathe. Offer me to die. Yes, gladly. There's a very strong reaction when I hear those words, and like I like how that connects. But then I also really like the end of that first verse where you're talking about kind of that realization that it's not just a person is a result of problems, should I say? Like it's a whole picture, like we were you had mentioned before. I suppose it wasn't real then. I was in the field then. We ain't have no meals then. Hole in my shoes, and then using duct tape to seal them. And like, I don't know, it's that there's something also about, your shoes, that's how you get around. That's like that's the base. But I was just thinking about trying to keep your shoes together, right? You could even be like, that's a metaphor for, meds in a way, like the things that keep you grounded. That was my interpretation, is like, that was also kind of a reference, and that may not have been what you intended, but
I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that's a good way to think about it. Like, yeah, I can't sit here and lie and say that was the way I meant it. No, it was more of a literal thing. Like, yeah,
definitely, you can always interpret something very literally, or it's very
it could go both ways.
I'm going to say that those are like my two favorite parts, but I think that those are like, in a weird way, kind of some of the more darker parts of the song. And I'm just the type that likes the real the real sad song kind of thing. What's your favorite part of the song?
I would honestly pretty much agree with you. Obviously, I like all of the song, but it's like, I do like my verse. I feel like the hook and the bridge do kind of like say something in terms of like, okay, I'm trying my best in life. I'm trying to do this, incorporating faith as well. Like, I don't feel like I'm supported. The bridge, incorporating stuff like how something simple as like being with somebody can make you feel good in the midst of all your darkness and the midst of everything you're going through. But the verse, you know, just kind of lays everything out, you know, because I feel like I do talk about multiple things on the verse. But this shit's still going on. And this shit still happened because, you know, just because something's in your past doesn't mean it still doesn't affect you. Laying out all the things, like the real, like what you said, the realer part of the whole song, like, you know, holes in my shoes using duct tape to seal them, like that gritty part, man. This is it. This is what I'm talking about in the song, what I'm going through, what I've been through. Yeah, that's why I would say that's my favorite part, because it's just like, those are the real parts. Those are the parts I wanted to get out.
Why did you pick this song to be the song you wanted to talk about today?
Like I said, I'm dropping a 3-part project, 3 songs on the project. First song is like, Why Am I Like This? Second song would be Take a Shot, and last song would be Meds, right? The reason I chose this one, all of them, was for 2 reasons. One, I feel like this song does say a lot, especially about what I'm going through. The big point of this whole project was, I feel like the only person that truly knew was my boy Jameer. And, you know, one time we're chilling in the car and I was done with everything. I'm just like, I'm not going to do music anymore. I'm done trying with the music shit. You know, I don't want to do this no more. Like, I just want to focus on my life. Everything that's not music, I want to focus on that. Like, I'm literally done with this. And I did it. I took everything that was music out of my life, and I was just chilling here. I think it was like a month or 2. The world doesn't stop. I'm still seeing, you know, my friends or people that are not my friends, you know, still doing music, still doing what they're doing. And, you know, I always have love for people. What my boys are doing and all that shit, like, I was cool with. I'm like, yeah. But then at the same time, I'm just like, why am I stopping music? Who's that benefiting? Even the other side of it was just like I said, I always have this self-hatred thing. So it was like, I'm not bad. I'm not. Like, half the stuff that I make is better than a lot of what people make. Why am I stopping this? That's, you know, where the name of my project came from. Is this something I do? This self-hatred thing was like, I ended up naming my project Taking a Break from My Demise, taking a break from my death. I put myself in that position where, like, I was the one that destroyed my poetry. I was the one that did that. Take a break from the self-hatred. Let's see what happens if you don't hate yourself. Let's see what happens if you do put 100% forth of what you want to do, but have no doubt, you know, because you could put 100%. Trust me, I've done it. I put 100% into something that I wanted to do, but still had doubt. Where will we be without the doubt? You know, I could drop the song, think it's going to do bad. What about if I don't think it's going to do bad? Let's believe. And I feel like the whole project does showcase that really well. But yeah, Meds is one of those songs that it's like, it does talk about a lot, but also I feel like it does show versatility a little more too. I sang on the song, I rapped on the song, you know, I layered it up. There's a lot of versatility in the song. So like on both ends, Meds does talk about a lot, but Meds also does show a lot in terms of what I could do as an artist, you know, with my voice.
Champagne is Also a Band podcast is proud to support Jubilee Cafe. Jubilee Cafe is a free weekly meal program at Community United Church of Christ, 805 South 6th Street in Champaign, Illinois. Jubilee Cafe serves a home-cooked meal from 5 to 6:30 each Monday. Their mission is to feed hungry people by cooking healthy, delicious meals and by serving their guests restaurant-style with servers waiting on tables. Jubilee Cafe is open to anyone who cares to eat with them. Because food insecurity among students is so high, they serve students as well as others in and around the Champaign-Urbana community who struggle with hunger. Meals are free to all and will be served each Monday evening, located in the accessible lower level of the building at 6th and Daniel Streets in Champaign. For more information on the meal or how to volunteer, go to the Jubilee Cafe CUCC Facebook page or email them at jubilee.cafe@community-ucc.org. That's jubilee.cafe@community-ucc.org. Welcome back. So, Josa, what is your favorite Champaign-Urbana venue?
I feel like one venue that comes into everybody's mind is Canopy. Definitely do like that place, you know. especially when I did get to start performing there. But after I started being in like the Champaign music scene a little more, I don't know, like even though this is a smaller venue, shout out Red. I like performing at Red's. I like performing at Canopy too, but I definitely feel like I do get a lot more love and definitely interaction. Red is artists that, you know, they perform and they throw shows. I like performing with them, and I like being there and performing. You know, the crowd and the energy is just there.
Listeners, you may remember Red from episode 110. There's something to be said for house show venues. It's not about having a ton of people. It's just about having good people, like, all accumulated in one spot.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like, not to cut you off, but I feel like, especially as like a local artists, or like coming up, those house venues, or those, I'm putting air quotes up, those smaller venues, they give the most. Because like I've been at plenty of shows at Canopy. I performed at Canopy plenty of times. Definitely get my love there. When you're at like one of these house shows, or you know, these smaller venues, you're right there in front of your audience. Yeah. And literally, as soon as I hop off the stage, boom, they're right there in front of my face. Yeah. Oh, you know, I fuck with your shit. You know, I like your song. I like what you did, you know, whatever. So I definitely got a lot of more love through those house venues and those house shows.
The big question in this section is, what do you think makes a good music scene?
I would say the thing that makes a good music scene is just like having willing artists that are really not too focused on their, like, the way they look, you know, or like, you know, just being the tough guy. Artists that are just willing to work with no confrontation, none of that. When I was in Chicago, you know, I was working there because, you know, obviously that's where I grew up. It was something always happening. I have stories upon stories, like almost beefed with the fucking Reese's Puff guy. There was one time we did an event at the studio. Randomly, somebody got stabbed. Shit always going on, or like people always having problems with you, whether it be they fuck with your music or they don't. Somebody always had a problem. There was always a problem. Coming over here, you still had that same thing, but it was more like, it was less of it. Yeah, I just met you. I'm not going to hate on what you're doing. I fuck with what you're doing. I want to see you win. Let's work. That acceptance, like, let's grow together. Let's do this. That's what makes a good music scene. Whereas, like, being in Chicago, there's, you know, a bunch of grimy shit going on. Motherfuckers will show you love, but at the same time, want you to fall. You know, they're just showing you that love to get what they can get out of it. And just having that, I want to work with people. I want to see everybody grow. I feel like all the people that I work with right now, you know, a few honorable mentions, Jameer XO, Malik, Goofy, Mousepad, like people that, you know, they obviously want to be the best. You know, who in whatever field you're doing, you want to be the best always. But guess what? At the same time, if I ask any one of these people, they want to see me win. They want to see me do the best I can. And that's something you can't find in every music scene. That's one of those things that, like, are rare. Like I said, growing up in Chicago and doing the music there, I had people that show me love. It was never not love. But at the same time, secretly, you know, especially realizing us after the fact, secretly, they didn't want me to win. Secretly, they were hating. Secretly, they were wanting to see me do the worst, you know. So the real thing that makes the best music scene is like that love, that authentic love. I want to do the best, but shit, if you do it, you know, I'm gonna give you your flowers. I want to see you do good.
Champaign is Also a Band podcast is proud to support Exile on Main Street. Exile on Main Street, located in the old train station building at 100 North Chestnut Street in downtown Champaign, has been helping to build record collections since 2004. Carrying a wide array of new and used LPs, CDs, and video games. Exile on Main Street has something for just about any music enthusiast and old-school gaming devotee. Exile also hosts regular free live music shows on its stage, so be sure to check out their Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for the up-to-date details on the next upcoming event. Open 7 days a week, they can be reached by phone at 217-398-MAIN. That's 217-398-6246. Welcome back. So, Josa, what is your favorite non-musical thing or things?
I feel like a lot of people could agree with me in the room. Food. I like food. I cook. I like cooking. That's one of those things that I do, like, outside of the mic that I actually enjoy doing. Yeah, there's not much I can say more on it. I love cooking.
What's your favorite go-to dish, then?
Anything barbecue.
Anything barbecue.
So, like, to put it in, for example, like this Thanksgiving, I smoked the turkey for, I think, 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
One of the best turkeys I've ever made. Like,
sorry, just going to throw on top of that, we do, for our turkey, we out on the Weber, right? Like, with charcoal and
oh, hell
all that.
Yeah.
But we also brine it the night before.
Yeah, that is the same thing.
Yeah, that changes everything. Yep.
You brine it, get that, that seasoning in, let it all soak up. It makes a big difference.
And I mean, for the most part, everybody likes a juicy turkey instead of a really dry as hell turkey.
Oh, yeah. I wish I could have invited y'all over for my Thanksgiving. Bro, my turkey, I ain't gonna lie, I'm sorry. Like, my shit was good. Obviously, I've never tried anybody else's turkey besides, like, my family's, but I think I had some of the best turkey of that year.
Like, and the bones you can make broth with.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's really, and then I usually make chili out of it because it's like that smoky.
See, I like, you have animals, so
Yeah.
My cat is my son. I took on my turkey neck and I made him a nice little broth. He also has some turkey too. Everything I eat, I feed my cat. Yeah,
it has to pass the cat test.
Like, I gave him a piece of smoked turkey.
So besides turkey, anything
besides music and all, like, I made it a point end of 2022, beginning of 2023 to really put 100% into music. So, like, on the side, if I'm doing anything, I'm maybe cooking. But besides that, I'm thinking about music. Whether it's I'm thinking of new bars, whether I'm thinking of marketing. Aside from that, I'm thinking about music. That's been my point. I would say I started taking it seriously 2023, at the beginning of it. And I've showed progress from it. Just the most that I've ever seen in my career. Because, like, I've been doing this since I was 17, 18. And when I first started, nothing was happening. I wasn't getting no pushing followers. I wasn't getting nothing. No streams. None of that. But it wasn't until I started pushing 100% where it was like, I'm waking up today. What in music can I do? Versus what can I do? Oh, I'm just going to go out to eat. No. What can I do in music?
Yeah.
Let's go to the studio. Oh, shit. Jermaine, you got a studio session today? For sure. Can I slide? Bet. After that, yo, I'm about to do this photo shoot. You want to come with me? Just having every step that I take, it's going to be a music step. Besides music, cooking is really the only thing I would do, like, on the side. Like,
gotcha.
I have really no other love that much. Like, I love music.
I'm still curious about the idea of, pursuing something and doing it without doubt. It's not something you can necessarily turn off. It's just like, do you just dive off that cliff, so to speak? Like, whether it matters, you know what I mean? Like, whether it happens or not.
It's something I struggle with to this day. It's like, just the other day I wrote a song and I really fuck with it. And it's just like, that's always going to happen. It's all about what you listen to. And I feel like that's the case with anything. Like, just being an artist, somebody could tell me my song is bad. It's all about what I listen to. Just the same way I'm telling, oh yeah, I hate my song. Am I going to listen to that? Even though it's coming from me, am I going to? Nah, I'm not going to listen to that.
Right.
And it's the same thing with anybody else. If anybody else has any other hate towards my song, it's just like, what are you going to listen to? Are you going to listen to the things that are going to craft you into the best artist you can be? Or are you going to listen to things that are just going to keep pulling you back?
Well, Joseph, thank you for being on the show and telling me about your song Meds and about the Champaign-Urbana music scene and your experiences and your favorite non-musical thing, even though you get pulled back into the music all the time. And just, I've really appreciated you coming all the way out here and being on the show.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Champagne is Also a Band podcast. This is Artist Josa, reminding you great music is out there. Go find it where you live.
That's a wrap.
Champagne is also a band.
You almost have an NPR voice. It's so good.
Studio South Peter on the inside.
Yes. This is a little bit.